where arts and adventure summits the airwaves. This is the Ogden Arts and Adventure Show. I am R. Brandon Long alongside
Todd Oberndorfer.
We are your hosts for the greatest arts and adventure podcast in all the land. In studio with us, we have Katrina Wynn, Seeds of Imagination, and talk to me about your watercolors. What's that called? The type of watercolor?
The type of watercolor?
Yes, I have diagram. What is
I do dioramas.
Why did it say? Okay, wrong to start. Good start.
Dioramas.
I'm like, what's a diagram watercolor? That. Okay, yeah, diorama. Along with we have Melissa Holmes, marathon runner or author. How do you introduce yourself to people?
Just Melissa.
You don't immediately say.
I don't shake hands with people and say, "Hi, I'm a marathon runner." Author.
Nice.
I typically say I'm Brandon, the podcaster Long.
That's probably just about right.
No, but I know before we get into the guests here in the studio, everyone is like, "Why? Why is Brandon back wearing those big headphones? He was wearing those little earbuds."
Everybody's been talking about it.
Everybody's been talking about it. It's crazy, and it's only been a minute and a half. So maybe y'all can relate. I don't know. This is what happened this morning. I knew I had a physical, a checkup, right? And I'm insecure about my weight, but I know that they don't weigh you naked. They weigh you with all your things on. And so
Fair.
I normally have my pockets chock full of stuff, like chapstick and pens and monies, and I have all this accoutrements on my wrists and stuff.
All adds up.
And I keep my little earbuds in my pocket all the time. And so I took everything out today to go to the doctor because I'm like, I'm weighing as light as possible. So when the doctor weighs me,
trick that
I'm tricking that scale at least 1.5 pounds.
Oh my gosh.
And then I forgot to put it all back in the pockets. So it's sitting at home. So that's what happened. I know.
Thanks for sharing. Little things. You're probably not alone.
Oh, anyway, so I hope I'm not because,
Everything check out?
Everything's great. Yeah.
I'm more interested in what came out of the...
Yeah, blood results are back. Everything looks good. I got to lose a few pounds, a few lbs, but don't we all? But so I tried this morning, by pulling everything out of the pants pockets. Apparently that wasn't enough. I'm going to have Melissa train me, and so I'll be running a marathon in no time, which is going to be great. How many marathons have you run?
5.
Oh man, I have also done 5, but it's been years.
Yeah,
years. I couldn't complete one now. It's hard for me to just watch people finish. So
I don't necessarily have the need for it, but I've done 2 relays and little fun runs and things like that.
And they're a blast. They're so much fun. I love it.
I've had a lot of fun on those.
Yeah. Well, let's get to know our artists here, Melissa and Katrina Wynn, Seeds of Imagination. So that's the name of the art studio?
So yeah, the cards that I created are called Seeds of Imagination.
That's right, the cards, yeah.
I typically go by Casey.
Yeah, as an artist.
Yes.
Yeah.
The cards were kind of a brainchild that I've been working on forever. I've been wanting to do prompts for a really long time, and I worked with some friends with them, and eventually came up with this.
Show that camera by you there, Todd. Yeah, Seeds of Imagination, and then you can back those up just a little bit and flip them over. Is there what's on the back? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, Seeds of Imagination, the cards.
Yeah, so they're prompts that you can use for writing or drawing, and then there's games that you can play with them, and these are for you guys.
Thank you. That's amazing.
Oh, we're going to try one during this.
You want to do it right now?
Well,
we have a prompt to talk about.
We'll learn a little bit about
I might use these for
interviews.
Yes. So there's an event coming up, and it's a brand new event. And right now I can't think of the name of the event right off the top of our head, but Lucky Slice is organizing it, and it's a bicycle relay event in town. And I'm not sure where they start, but one of the last stops is us. They have to come here and they have to drop off their bicycles for a second, and they have to. And there's multiple stops, and at each stop they have to do a challenge. And I pitched to Chase that our challenge was their teams of 2. They had to come in, and I said I was going to have a wheel of categories like pizza or something, and then they would have to talk about it for 1 minute as a mini micro podcast, and then we will have that recorded and they can use it for whatever. And then as soon as they talk for a minute, we'll give them their props to go to the next destination. Well, I got this idea because my daughter, who is she's a cheerleader, so they had a leadership meeting or whatever at her school, and all of the leaders had to speak for a minute. So all the cheerleaders and all the student council kids had to speak for a minute on random subjects that they could actually kind of choose. They were just posted on the wall. And my daughter's subject was fries. And after 2.5 minutes, they told her to stop talking because she wouldn't stop talking. But she said that there were so many students that had a hard time talking for a minute on any particular subject. And we talk for hours on podcasting. But I think it would be interesting to give somebody a random topic and just say, go. And one's got to be the host and one's got to be the interviewee and just like go about this topic. So we might be able to use the prompts, right? I mean, that's basically what they're for.
Absolutely.
To just come up with.
Like, we're talking some serious
Oh, is there serious?
Look at here's the first topic that pulls up.
Okay,
Can
let's
you
see.
that?
Mental illness.
Yeah,
We're gonna have a good time. We're gonna have a good time tonight.
it's real.
That's a real
You're
fun
keeping
one.
it real, exactly. Yeah. So
Oh
it's
my God.
serious and
Yes, there's lots of fun stuff
Of
in there
course.
too. But my favorite game to play is Fact or Fiction. So you draw
Love
a
it.
card and you have to tell a story, and everybody else has to guess whether you're telling the truth or not.
It's like Two Truths and a Lie. Fact or
Yeah.
Fiction. Okay. So, who have you played with? Family, friends, everybody?
Everybody. I sometimes put on game nights at the Collective, where anybody that wants to can just come and play.
I was going to say this might be interesting to take down the street and just talk to random people.
That would
Pick
be-
a card and
Yeah.
go, So, where did you come up with the idea and how? Because listen, a lot of times, and congrats because you followed through. Because a lot of times we all have great ideas and they stay in our head and they never come out, and that's the physical.
and then if you don't do it, then somebody else does.
right.
That's
And
what
then
happens.
you're mad because you.
I think I still have like an
Exactly.
uncle or a cousin that invented the squeezable bottle for ketchup. That was
Oh, really?
convinced us that
Yeah.
he was the one that did it. I think you always have somebody that like,
Right.
oh, I invented this
Yeah,
thing.
my uncle
Unless you
invented
do it,
Velcro.
you-
and never-
exactly, yeah.
But you did it, yeah.
Congratulations.
So I wanted to do like typical prompts, like a sentence, and then you use the sentence to write something or whatever. But it's so limiting, and you have to come out with new ones all the time. The really cool thing about these is that they're infinite, because there's so many different combinations. There are 5 decks, and each deck is who, what, where, when, and why. You put them together in a combination, and it's almost an infinite number of combinations that you can put together
Awesome.
to create one prompt.
Brilliant. And how did you go from idea in your head to let's find someone to manufacture this? Let's figure this out.
I did a Kickstarter.
You did?
Yeah.
How long ago? When was this?
Was it 2000?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was going on in not
COVID.
2020.
Yeah, COVID.
Okay, it was 2020, not
It-
2000.
yeah.
Okay.
2020.
Okay, which time warped for everyone. So during 2020, you were busy creating this. Mm-hmm. Amazing.
Yeah.
Seeds of Imagination, and that's the name. So do you call it a game? What do you call it? Just
So I call it
Cards?
Infinite Options Storytelling Prompts, which is a really long
Okay.
name. And so most of the time I just call them storytelling prompts.
infinite options storytelling prompts. Okay.
Yeah.
Who buys
IOSPs.
Seeds of Imagination? Who's your audience?
Authors, gamers, artists, school teachers. School teachers love it.
Were you a teacher?
I sort of am a corporate trainer. I'm a corporate trainer.
You're a corporate trainer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Which those are probably great for
Yeah.
corporations.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Is that your icebreaker?
Yeah. Almost every time.
Yeah.
It gets people.
I should not know that word.
The really cool thing is that I play with friends that I've known for years,
Uh-huh.
and I learn new things about them every single time.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, we should do one right now.
Do you learn too much about them sometimes?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yes. So which game do you want to play?
I don't know. What are
Yeah,
our-
dealer's choice.
Dealer's
Why don't
choice.
you-
Well, let's do
Give us a
Fact or
little
Fiction
taste.
because that's my favorite.
Okay, fact or fiction.
Okay. So then you just, do you want a time, situation, reason, character, or location?
Wow, location. I'm location based. Yeah.
Okay. Then let's pull out a location card.
This is fun already.
And their colors.
Draw a card.
Melissa, have you cheated? Do you know all the answers?
Do you look? Do I look?
I don't know.
Oh, hospital.
Oh, hospital. Okay.
Okay, so do you want me to tell us the first story?
Yes,
You guys
please.
can guess whether it's true or false.
Okay. Yeah. So we can kind of get how this goes. Okay.
Okay, so in 1999, I was in a really bad car accident.
Okay.
Like somebody slammed into me going 70 miles an hour, and I had to be rushed to the hospital. This is sort of embarrassing. So they had to cut because I rolled in the car.
Yeah.
They had to cut my pants off
Yeah.
and do a finger check
I don't want to know what that is, but all right.
to make sure that all my nerves were all
Parts, yeah.
working
Yeah.
correctly.
Yeah.
And everything was fine, but
Right.
I ended up at the hospital and embarrassed, and
Yeah.
now I'm telling the story on a podcast.
Yes. Yes. Okay. That is totally embarrassing. So can I guess now?
Yeah, go
Okay.
ahead.
So I'll say true because it's totally embarrassing.
Well, I'm learning the term finger test for the first time, and so I'm assuming that it is true because I learned something, or you made it up. It could be your thing. So I'm going to say true as well.
Okay. Melissa.
I feel like a bad friend because I don't know if this is true or not. And I've known you for a while now. But I do remember you telling a story about rolling your car. But I feel like some of those facts in that story you just told are not actual facts. So I'm going to say it's false and you're a big fat liar.
Oh, that was good. That was good.
So I have been in a couple accidents and I have rolled my car, but never had the
A finger check.
butt test.
Yeah.
And that's how it's done.
And that's how it's done.
Yes.
True or false? That's amazing. And that's I'll call it icebreaker right there. I tell
Yeah.
you what. Yeah. I bet you get some wild stories.
Therapists this is really great for therapists too, because it gets people's brains like going in directions that they normally wouldn't go.
Yeah, we spend so much time scrolling. It's nice to think for a second. And so this sort of gets the imagination going, the creativity going. Now, does it help you personally when you're looking for ideas on what to paint or anything?
Yeah,
Or-
absolutely. Yeah. I pulled a set the other day that made me think of Beetlejuice. I can't remember what the exact set was,
Yeah,
but
just don't say it 2 more times. we're all right.
it was like Afterlife or something like that.
Oh,
And
right.
yeah, so it made me think of
Right.
the B word.
The B word.
And
Sure.
and so I've been working on a.
Now, is that second one
piece
out
of
yet?
art.
Or is that Friday? When's that second one come out?
Oh gosh, that's.
I think it's a little
Is
bit
it out
closer
right
to
now?
Halloween, but it's soon.
Yeah.
Maybe
Okay.
next month.
So we haven't missed it.
Nope.
Okay.
I just barely watched the first one for the first time.
For the first time?
2 weeks ago. When
Well, what are your thoughts?
it was horrible.
Oh, okay.
I really like Michael Keaton, but
yeah.
oh my God, I don't know.
No? Well, when did that come out? 85 or something?
Literally don't know what to say. That movie is brilliant.
exactly.
I want to say to each her own, but it hurts a little bit.
You are.
Can I just say most movies from the 80s were pretty terrible?
So, I loved all of them, every single
It
one
has
of
been
them.
nice getting to know you.
Okay, I'll leave now.
But, so apparently, you didn't have to wait up all night to watch HBO to catch the one movie that was your favorite or whatever.
Oh, no, I definitely
you
did that.
Okay, you did that.
Yeah.
All right. So, Princess Bride, I had memorized because of how many times it came on television back in the day. And then, but movies like Beetlejuice and Big and all those late 80s, early 90s films, Beetlejuice it's weird. It's a little weird. Let's be honest. But it's also brilliant. And
Tim Burton. It's very Tim Burton.
It's very Tim Burton. He sort of, now was that?
But see, this is what I love. It's because your shirt, your Edgar Allan Poe shirt with this nice quote, I'm starting to size you up a little bit. And I'm like, hey, I'm fucking wrong. Beetlejuice and blah.
Oh, shoot, that's funny.
And onward to the next questions.
Well,
so
what about The Crow, the movie, The Crow?
Okay, I do like that one.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
That was
A little bit,
soundtrack.
little bit of redemption. Now,
It was good.
are you interested in this new one coming out? And see now,
That's a hard question to answer because I'm going to go see it, but I don't know if I'm
Okay.
excited about it or not.
Todd?
Oh, I don't even think the filmmakers are that excited about it.
Really?
That's probably like,
So I thought, because I think they've done a Crow 2 before.
they've done
Don't they-
some sequels without
sequels with it?
with new actors.
Yeah, yeah.
Because if you remember,
Right, somebody-
yours truly had I was an extra in Crow 3.
That's
if you remember
correct.
that,
That's
yeah.
correct.
No
and
way.
Which was garbage.
you're still here.
Yeah.
Like you, which is nice.
That was with a different actor and different
Yeah.
crew. But that was filmed in Salt Lake City. So
So the only thing is the Skarsgård is in it, and I really like those guys. They're
do
really
too.
good. So
Yeah.
no,
he looks too like
he looks more
Jared
Joker.
Leto Joker.
Yeah. Okay.
Which I did not care for that version.
Okay.
I love Jared Leto and I like the Joker. I didn't like that version of it. It was just too.
Okay. Fair.
too much.
Fair. I don't think I'll.
But I do like
see it in
I do
theater.
like the actor though. But I just-
Skarsgård. And the only other thing I can say about the Crow movie that I hope it can sort of live up to is the soundtrack. Is always the original soundtrack
Yeah,
was
for sure.
phenomenal. So I don't know how they're going to do that now, but if they can come close to that, that'd be great.
Like you, I will also see it, and we'll see.
Yeah.
Expectations are lowish, so I'll probably enjoy it. So.
Katrina, talk to me about watercolors. How'd you get into watercolors, and is this something that you do to like wind down after a day of corporate teaching?
So a friend of mine gave me a set of watercolor pens because I told her that I was terrified, watercolor markers, because I told her I was terrified of watercolors.
And
'Cause I-
Susan, who you mentioned that you listen to the podcast, she's a watercolor.
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
right across. So we'll have to introduce you to her when the podcast-
Definitely.
Okay.
So I've been doing acrylics for years and years and years, but she introduced me to watercolor markers, which I started playing with and getting more familiar with. And I was like, I can do this. This isn't that bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I mostly do botanicals, florals, things like that. That's what I enjoy the most because my bachelor's is in landscape architecture, so I know a lot about
Yeah.
flowers and stuff. So
How much do you use your bachelor's? Really? Isn't that sad?
yeah,
Did you design your own backyard? Really?
I grew up in Iowa
Yeah.
and lived in Maryland, which are very
wow.
different ecosystems
Yeah.
to Utah.
So your bachelor's was in Iowa?
Yes.
Okay.
Iowa.
Okay. And yeah, it doesn't translate, I guess.
No.
Sure. Okay.
No, Utah climate, like the plants, I can't grow anything.
You'd have to start over.
Yeah, I can't grow anything.
People do, but it's a whole different learning curve and all the things. So
When did you get? How old were you when you got that first degree?
21?
That's still pretty young. Like you're still figuring. Like it's tough when you're
Yeah.
doing that's schooling right out of baby school, which high school, and you're just.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody who. I mean, there's so many people, I guess, that know from this age what they're going to be, but I sure didn't.
I didn't.
Does it still interest you?
Well, sort of. I got laid off during the housing bubble burst.
Oh, wait.
Yes.
Okay.
And
I was
totally.
I was a loan officer then, so those are good times.
Exactly. So there was no way to even stay in landscape architecture, even if I had wanted to.
Uh-huh.
So I floundered around for a while and found art and then got my master's in professional communication.
Did you ever make a living as an artist or try?
No. I have my art at the local artisan collective,
Yeah.
but it's more to support my habit,
Yeah.
my art
Which
habit.
is, no, it's perfect. You got to pay for more paint and all the things.
Exactly.
I love it. Well, and so you do mostly botanicals.
Mm-hmm.
Where's your inspiration for that? Because you're out west. How long have you been out west and in Utah then?
10 years.
So long enough.
Yeah.
So what do you like about Utah and in our natural landscape here that you can bring to your paintings?
I adore the mountains. I have not yet figured out how to paint the mountains. I struggle.
Oh, really?
I struggle so bad
That's
with the
interesting.
mountains. But I mostly
Why don't you
paint
just
flowers
like draw a
to
nice
remember.
little tree over here, paint
A happy little tree.
happy little tree, and then it's not that easy though.
No.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, there's a lot of, like that picture behind you is not a painting. That's a picture of the Madison. There's a lot of inspiration, not just in Ogden, but that's 4 hours away. And then you can go south to Moab, which is a completely different landscape for a completely different vibe and a feel. And you can do all the different things. So do you travel and paint, or is it mostly just local stuff here?
I mostly paint from memory, like the flowers that I knew when I was in Iowa and Maryland and things like that. Or like Melissa's book had a flower she had made up, and she asked me to paint the flower that she had made up.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I painted that for her.
This tattoo is actually the flowers that she painted for me.
Amazing.
Oh,
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Who drew the tattoo?
His name is, oh my gosh, I forgot. He works at
It was the tattoo artist?
Prohibition in Salt Lake.
Okay. But designed after the flower that you painted.
Yeah.
what was the name of the flower?
It's called anesthesia.
Anesthesia. I like the name of that.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to say too.
Yeah. That's like
But it's hard to say.
I'm just going to keep bringing up books that shouldn't be brought up, but that's a good like fantasy dragon female character name.
Yeah.
Anesthesia.
kind of a fantastic name too, for sure.
Anesthesia. Anyway. Or it's just a good baby name. You know.
Now, see, I like that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think I just thought of this today. Mabel. Who's naming their kids Mabel these days? That's a great name that hasn't been used for very long. Right?
Yeah, it hasn't been used in a long time.
Right? Yeah. Now, yeah. Mabel. We need more Mabels. So painting, you're at the local arts and collective, so we can go down there and find your work under Katrina, right?
Casey.
Casey.
Where
did I get Katrina?
My Facebook page
That's
is
right.
Katrina.
That's right. That's right.
It's a joke among my friends that I have 3 different names.
Oh my God. Well, I'm already lost. So
It's
I'm
gonna
glad you know who your friends
It's going to
are.
be super clear by
Yeah.
the time we're done, though. So.
Under Casey. Win, right?
Three different ways
Peak.
to look you up.
Tell me Win's right.
Nope, it's Peak.
See? It's all right. So we've got bands that do that. You know, there's a famous one in Salt Lake that the name of the band is a person. But that's not the lead singer's name, and that's just a made up person. So you're like, no, where's so and so? The name of the band. That person doesn't exist.
Wow.
So it's, you know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
a pen name essentially, but it's a band name of a person that's.
That's why we take good notes.
I think it's fun. Yeah, it's great. So Casey Peak, Casey Peak down there at the. Well, you didn't correct me earlier.
It's being kind.
You're too nice.
I don't
Yeah.
correct you every time you.
Which would be a lot. Which would be a lot. How do you guys know each other?
We met in a writing group, actually.
Okay. How? Whose writing group?
It's called Wasatch Writers Fellowship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you're also a writer? Mm-hmm. Okay. See, you do not let everything out of that. We got to die. What else do you do?
You tease it out.
I
She
know.
likes to stay
You gotta stay
mysterious.
Brandon's the time I can see him on his first date. He is telling everything.
You know, you can blackmail me
Everything.
on it because I'll tell you everything day one. Yeah.
The secret is little bits, and then they come
Right.
back for more.
Casey over there, you're learning shit 10 years in. Like, I had no idea. Her friend admitted earlier, like, I didn't know. I don't know. Maybe you did get the finger test. I don't know. So, Casey's sneaky like that. Okay. In her downtime, she's an astrophysicist. We just don't know. We don't know.
Podcast number 2. You say a little
Backcast
something.
number
Yeah.
2. Yeah. So also, what do you write?
I write short stories, mostly nonfiction, about like memoir style.
Okay. What's that pen name?
Casey Peak.
Okay. All right, very good. Very good. That's fantastic. Well, how has art shaped you, and how do you bring it into your work, or do you use it as a release instead, maybe?
I use it more as a release.
Yeah.
Like art is sort of a form of meditation for me. Like I zone out. Like I don't listen to music. I don't watch any shows. I sit in my craft room and
So not a Netflixer.
well, I mean with my husband or whatever.
Okay,
but
yeah, but okay. But you just zone out. In other words, into the art.
Yeah, and I sit there for hours, painting, creating dioramas, doing mixed media.
You're probably more mentally healthy than like 99% of the world.
I don't know about that.
So
Yeah,
I
where,
went-
where did you get that so far?
Because
I tease.
yeah. I mean, if you can tear yourself away from the addictions of social media scrolling, of television watching, and even music can be good for you, but just maybe not all the time or something. But if you're sitting in silence by yourself and just focusing in on your own head and things, and then painting, letting it go, probably spending some time in nature too, maybe, that's a recipe for a good, healthy mind, I think.
Yeah. I love
Exercise, probably a little bit, physical stuff too, but outside of that, yeah.
I think you're right. I have a quick question for you. Where did you learn about the collective? What's your story about kind of coming into that family?
So another fellow writer from the Wasatch Writers Fellowship, Summer, was a artist at the collective, and a friend of mine, and they introduced me to the collective, and now they are a full-time artist making a living at that, which is freaking amazing.
Who's that?
Summer.
Okay.
Falconcraft.
Summer goes by Falconcraft, so you just kind of remember. Obvious.
I'm
Obvious.
already screwed up on that. Yeah.
Falconcraft is the name of their business. Summer
Okay,
Falconwrath is her name.
Okay.
Is their name.
Okay. Summer.
Did you get all that?
Nope. We'll call her Summer.
But Summer did.
Summer
That's the
did.
most
Yeah.
important thing.
Yeah. Very cool. So,
And how long ago was that?
yeah.
Summer was there. I've been at the collective for 2 years. It'll be 2 years in September.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, I love it. It's amazing. It's such a community. That's the part that I love the most about it, is that it's
Yeah.
just it's such an amazing experience to be around artists all the time.
Well, so
Oh,
that,
wait, we didn't drink. Do you have water?
yeah.
We always have to. It's an
Yeah,
informal.
cheers
We have
to-
to drink to community. Every
Cheers
time
to
you say
Okay.
community.
the artist community.
Because sometimes when we start rolling community, I mean, you will just keep drinking, just so. So, we're all about the community here.
Of course, it's bad luck to toast with water, but
I've never heard that, and
Yeah,
if
probably
that's true, it's probably true.
It works for you because we mostly have. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never once toasted with water. But I ran into a situation. I guess I'll keep it private. But here at the Monarch, where we get a lot of newer artists in here. You'd think because there's a cost involved to rent space and things. So I'm kind of surprised people are like, F it. I'm going all in, and I'm
That's
getting a
what you gotta
space.
do, yeah.
And it's what you got to do sometimes. And then, and one of them I was talking to the other day, and we'll use they. We're trying to figure stuff out. They had a lot of questions, and so I'm doing just an initial survey of the situation and suggested a few things. And I thought, you know what? You ought to cruise down to the local artisan collective and start asking questions, because they sort of have that community and they can answer it better than I can. So yes,
They're such a resource.
it's a resource. And so I felt like they would benefit from what you all have learned down there, because there's a lot of different types of artists and a lot of the same struggles that you can kind of work through and bounce against each other and say, hey, how does this work and all that. So could we just send people to you? Like, how does it work?
Of course,
Yeah?
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, even if we don't have space in the store for a new artist, we are always helping people. And I do a community craft night on the second Tuesday of every month that is open to the public. Anybody can come. They bring their own craft or activity or whatever and sit down, and we just all chat. We just talk. We just commiserate about what it's like to be an artist, or our daily lives even.
That's helpful.
Yeah.
It's helpful because then you realize, look, I'm not the only one who's struggling, or so-and-so had success, and how do I implement that into what I'm doing? So I think it's very important, and it doesn't happen as naturally here at the Monarch, even though there's a lot of artists under one roof and very close together, but there are more walls, literally walls in between, and so it's not as cohesive necessarily as the collective probably is.
That
I'm assuming.
shared space.
And shared space. Yeah. So Melissa, did you spend time down there?
A little bit. She's always trying to get me to come to craft night, but
Yeah.
I'm not.
Would you get to craft night? Damn it.
I'm not a crafty person. I bring my adult coloring books. And that's
Sorry,
about all I
I'm
can
running
do.
right now. Let's shout out to adult coloring books. I love those
Yay.
things. Yeah.
I know. they're
Also known
amazing.
as coloring books, but I do like the It's the.
I have to make the distinction. I'm not like
I
coloring
love
My Little
coloring
Ponies
books.
or something, you know.
If you were, that would be totally fine. Yeah. But there are more options now. I'm definitely a coloring book person myself. So you have a lot more adult options, like sometimes straight up adult options, and those are my favorites. Those are really good. Too.
I didn't know that about Todd. Where's the prompt on that one? He likes adult coloring options.
The more adult, the better.
So
There's no judgment.
yeah, there's no judgment. Melissa, let's jump over here real quick. You are an author and a runner, and what else do you do in your life, spare time, full time?
Those are the things I do in my spare time. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I have 2 kids, so they take up a lot of time. 3 kids if you include my husband. He also takes up a lot of my time.
When you're a stay-at-home mom, I think that's part of the duties, right?
Yeah.
You adopt an extra, unfortunately. Yeah.
But I am lucky because I do have a lot of time to focus on
I
my
think it's
writing,
amazing.
and it's really helped me push forward with that. So
That does surprise me, though, that you can write with kids in the house. How do you do that?
I have to wake up really early in the morning,
Okay.
like 5 o'clock, so that I have some quiet time, especially during the summer when they're home from school. Yeah.
So school's back now for y'all?
Yeah.
Okay. And then now what's the routine?
So I wake up and I open first I make coffee because that's a necessity.
And this is at 4:40, 5 o'clock?
like 5 o'clock, and I spend some time usually rereading what I wrote the previous day and just kind of making little fixes or whatever. And then I spend about 40 minutes trying to get my older son out of bed and ready for school. So
A teenager or?
yeah, he's a teenager.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, and then my younger son, same deal. It takes a long time to get him out of bed, and by the time they're all at school and I have the house to myself again, it's usually like 9 o'clock. But then I have, stuff around the house I have to do. I have 3 dogs that I have to walk because I'm a crazy dog person.
Are they big
And-
dogs?
Yeah, so Siberian Husky, Standard Poodle. And then the third one is a little smaller. She's a mix between a Border Collie and a Chihuahua and Dachshund.
Oh, are you kidding me? What the hell does that thing look like?
It's a
I
great
can't-
mix.
Yeah, it is.
She looks like
You had me at Border Collie, and then I started getting lost. So-
she looks like a Border Collie with a Chihuahua head.
oh, wow. Like Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what we're
She's
talking about.
Beetlejuice.
Okay, yeah. Only in the dog version. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. But I've had Border Collies and Siberians, and Siberians I would never own again. I mean, they're sweethearts, but they're also assholes.
Yeah, he's an asshole, but I love him.
Yeah. But they're work, too. That's a lot.
Yeah.
You're a good dog mom, it sounds like. So that's a thing. It takes time.
Yeah.
You have to go do the things. And then when do you train? When do you run?
When or where? Sorry.
When?
Oh, in the morning.
With the dogs?
Yeah, sometimes with the dogs, sometimes not. If I'm going on a longer run, I don't take them because, my Siberian Husky, he's older now, so he can't go very far.
But he saved you from rattlesnakes.
That's true. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your Siberian did?
Yeah, I run on the trails a lot.
Uh-huh.
That's my favorite
Like
place
East
to
Bench?
go. Yeah, and farther up in the mountains.
Okay.
And I always run into rattlesnakes, so sometimes I do like to have the dogs I hate to say it, because if I do run into a snake, they're going to run into the snake first. But
Yeah. My Siberian tried to sniff a rattlesnake. And that didn't go well. She didn't get bit, but
that's good.
She got scared. Yeah. So you can't call. I called her off, and it didn't do anything. She was really
Right.
interested in the snake. But you're right. They find them first.
Yeah. But I don't let them off leash, especially my husky, because huskies are notorious
Right.
for running off. But so I always have them on like a waist belt, and I can pull them back if I hear the snakes. But they do kind
Thanks
of
for
alert me
doing
to
that,
it.
by the way, because
Yeah.
that's through the years. That's definitely been a pet peeve of mine. Is unleashed. dogs.
Mine too. And even if you think your dog is nice, some dogs just
No,
don't.
your dog is
match.
always perfect.
And-
it's always perfect. My dog's fine. It's your dog.
I can't tell you
Leash
how
your
many
dog.
times my dogs have been attacked by off-leash
100%.
dogs, and the owner's always like, "Oh no, they've never done that before."
Nope.
Like, well,
They've done it 100% of the time with my dog. Like,
Oh my God.
that just drives me.
Right.
I was hiking
Crazy.
Butte the other day, and this cute mom and daughter were hiking with 3 dogs, and they were very they were good about getting the dogs off. I think one was on a leash and 2 of them weren't, and then they were holding on to the collars as I approached. And I don't care, I'm a dog person, so I don't really care, but that's what they did. And then I passed them, went up quite a ways, turned around, come back down. Well, on the way back down, they lost one of the damn dogs. So because they got 2 of the dogs, one of them just left because it was off leash, and so now they got to go find their dog, and that's another issue.
Yeah.
when that
I
happens.
think, honestly, that you're more of a dog lover if you leash your dog. It's not the opposite. I think a lot of people convince themselves that I have the perfect dog. It doesn't need to be leashed up.
Yeah.
I think that is completely wrong.
and it's not just about that. It's about the consideration
Yes.
of everybody, because not everybody loves dogs. And so if they're just hiking on the trail and this dog comes running around the corner, that can scare a lot of people.
There's just
Even
so
if
many
the dog
those
is
variables.
friendly. And it's just considerate,
Yep.
you know?
Completely agree. That will always be a thing in Utah where we love our dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Lots
do.
of dogs.
So you run marathons. When did you decide, you know what? Let's go the distance.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, why did you need that first one?
I don't even know. Okay, so I started running a few years ago after my second son was born to try to get healthy again and lose some weight, because I gained a lot of weight when I was pregnant. And, at first it was like I couldn't even go a mile before I had to stop. And after about...
Like for real, you couldn't run a mile.
Right. And then...
Just a reminder, marathons are 26.2.
yeah.
So-
It's a good place to start. Yeah.
Right.
After
Right.
about a
Good place to
year, I decided to do my first 5K, and I thought, well, that was fun. Maybe I'll do like a 10K, and I skipped the 10K and signed up for a half marathon.
as you
And
do.
I knew I was insane, but
Which half was it?
okay, so I signed up for a half marathon through this company called Vacation Races. I don't know if you...
Now we're talking. Okay.
So they're Utah-based, and they do races at the national parks all over the United States.
For real. And
Yeah.
what's the name?
Vacation Races.
Okay.
And they also have what they call global adventures. So they do like week-long running, usually on trails, in different countries all over the world. It's really fun. I actually just did one. I know it's not a different country, but I just did one in Alaska.
Oh, fun.
So, but my first one was at Yosemite National Park.
Yeah.
And I loved it so much, I came home and registered for the Ogden Half Marathon, which was a week later.
Oh
and
my
I
God.
and I did
Like
that.
no time to recover.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, okay. So then after I did that, I loved it so much and I was feeling really good. I thought, I'll do my first marathon.
So Yosemite was like May, like early May?
It was, oh gosh, yeah, it was the beginning of May.
Okay. Yeah.
And this was in 2018, I want to say. So then after the Ogden, I signed up for the Huntsville Full Marathon, which was the following September. Oh, no, wait, sorry. I signed up for a marathon in Salt Lake. And I finished that one, and I had also signed up for the Huntsville Marathon, which was 7 days later.
Oh, wow.
I realized that was a huge mistake because
yeah. So for those who haven't run marathons, Melissa, tell people their love of marathons the day they finish. It's like the worst thing ever.
well, as soon as you finish, you think, I'm never going to do this again.
Ever.
Ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I made it through, and then my husband and I went to TF Brewing to celebrate, and he had to carry me out of there. And it was about
Not because of the drinks, but because of the legs. were
because of
shot?
my legs.
Yeah.
No, not
Yeah.
because of the drinks.
Yeah.
And I had about 6 days of barely being able to walk, and then on the 7th day, I had to do my next marathon. And I got to about mile 4, and my legs were just done
Oh,
already. But
okay.
I did this mental game where I thought, I'll just make it to the next aid station and see how I feel. And if I feel like I can't continue, I'll tell them. And I would get to the next aid station and be like, you know what, maybe I can try to make it to the next one. And I did that through the whole race, and I finally finished
You
it.
finished. Yeah. Congratulations. That's insane. Did you walk most of it, or did you kind of jog it, or how did you do it?
I slowly jogged most of it,
Yeah.
just because I was hurting so much. And then the last 4 miles, I kind of jogged.
You must have been in really good shape leading up to it because that's really hard to do.
I was
So,
not in as
like
good a
basically
shape as I
back-to-back
am now.
marathons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay, but that was you did all that in like a summer.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep. Okay, and then you went on to run. So now you run 5,
Yeah.
which is all around here or different places.
Most of them around here.
Okay,
Yeah.
Ogden.
Ogden a couple of times. I did the Ogden one in 2020 during COVID, and so it was virtual. So I actually ran the Huntsville course on my own. For the
I got a
Ogden
medal for that,
Marathon.
but never ran it. So I should probably go back. You know,
It's like those
I won't tell anyone.
those ceremonial degrees that the celebs get.
100%. Yeah. Yeah.
Did you get it for emceeing a race?
I think I got, I think because I MC typically. And so like I got a free entry to it. And so then they just shipped the box to me.
Sure.
And I was like, dude, I got to take the box. But like, this is stupid. Like, so I don't even know where it's at, but yeah, I had one for that year. And I
my
never ran it.
husband has a medal under the same circumstances.
Okay, all right.
Because
Me
the
and your husband
virtual
need to
one,
hang
he
out.
was supposed to run with me and he didn't, but he still has the medal.
That's fantastic. All right. That's funny. All right. Any places that are like dream places to run a marathon? Because didn't your brother run
He did a couple.
Dublin?
He did Dublin, and he did one in Hawaii. I can't remember which island in Hawaii. So
when I was in
beautiful
shape,
too.
I was looking at places because you mentioned that place out of
You like the rock and marathon?
I did the rock and roll.
and they have those around.
Yeah, I did San Diego Rock and Roll Marathon,
Oh,
which was
fun.
awesome.
Yeah.
But I was looking at kind of crazy stuff. There's actually a Himalayan marathon where you start at the base of Everest and then run down
That would
the
be
hill,
amazing.
which would be unreal. And so, but then
I might have to add that to my bucket list.
Yeah, that is a bucket list thing because I didn't have the funds necessarily, and now I'm not in quite the shape that is, but that would be amazing.
You got to have the lungs for that
You
one.
gotta have the lungs for that one, yeah,
Right.
for sure. Because you got to hike up there, and then
Yeah.
and run down. Whatnot. But is there a place that you've looked at that's like, oh, I'd love to run there? Because you did Alaska.
Well, so they do one on the Great Wall of China.
They do,
And I don't
Yes.
know if I want to do it. I mean, I want to do it, but it also terrifies me.
Sure.
The thought of all those stairs. But
that
yeah,
is
that
like
might be
gotta be only like like a roller coaster, right? And stairs and
yeah,
like you can't get a rhythm necessarily. You're just
that would be a really hard one. But I do
Well,
want
you
to
know,
try
if it
it.
terrifies you, it's a good goal.
Yeah,
that's a good
true.
point.
That's like you and painting mountains.
Yes, exactly.
That means that you really need to start painting mountains. Like that's to me, that's always a sign that it's
they
all right,
call her
got to go in that direction.
Casey Mountain Peak.
Yes, that's right.
They
You remembered. You were
nickname.
taking notes.
Yeah.
So how does the running influence the writing, and how does the writing influence the running?
So when I'm doing long runs, I get into this mode where I sort of shut off all of my anxious thoughts, and that kind of gives way to my creative thoughts. And so I'll start thinking about the project I'm working on or whatever I'm writing, and I don't plot my stories. I kind of just sit down and write and let it, whatever is going to happen. And a lot of that happens while I'm running, and I come up with the stories while I'm exercising.
Does that mean without the plotting part that there's extra editing?
Oh yeah, definitely.
But everybody's got their process, and it's nice
Yeah.
to hear the process.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. And it's however you can tap into that. And so I love that it's, during something that's as healthy as running. I think that's wonderful.
Yeah. I like to mix my adventures with my writing in any way that I can. I will sometimes, I usually do like an annual solo backpacking trip just for like a weekend, and I'll print out my manuscript and take it with me and just edit while I'm in the mountains by myself. It's kind of amazing.
It's wonderful.
I heard this hack the other day, and it was you have to find the end of your brain, meaning we're so into, I mean, you two obviously are not, but we're so into, the socials and things that we don't get a lot of time to think by ourselves. And so you have to put yourself in a place where you're alone and where your thoughts can run wild, whether it's a long hike, a long run, a room where your thoughts can go until your brain finally settles down, and then you can be creative. You can find that space where it's like, okay, now let's think about things.
And that's definitely true for me. And my house is always noisy and crazy, you know, with kids and a million dogs running around. And if there's noise or any kind of distraction, I just cannot concentrate on my writing at all. So having quiet spaces that I can go to, even if I'm not actively writing, just helping me think of the story. So exercising has really actually fueled my creativity in ways that I didn't expect at all.
I think that we each have our, I'm curious to hear what Brandon's is too. I'll share mine. I think that over the years I have been very neglectful of sleep, my sleep, right? And so I love to stay up late. The dogs get me up early. I'm like a 5:30 person because of the dogs, and there's no retraining that. It is what it is. Their alarm is set, and I do like them, and so it's, getting rid of them is not an option. Even though I used to think that, I used to pass through my head sometimes. Like I just want some sleep, but and so I tried something unique to me, and I started going to bed earlier. Right?
Wow!
And it was a tough adjustment because I.
Like how much earlier?
Well, and some people may not even see it as early, but like an early night sleep is 10 o'clock to like 5:30, 6 o'clock, right? And so it's wonderful. Like, I mean, I have noticed such a difference, like just physically and mentally. And
you really don't sleep.
Just sleep I just haven't prioritized it for years. And it caught up. I mean, it was affecting, my work, and it was affecting my relationships, and physically it just showed, and
I mean, we didn't talk for years.
Just I was a miserable bastard. And, so anyway, I tried this thing called sleep, more than like 4 hours, every night. And so it's those moments though where I look forward to, because I have 2 cats that I somehow ended with, and 2 dogs, and so they like to all sleep in my room, and so at the end of the day, they're looking forward to that moment, and they start getting a little anxious if it's like it's time to go to bed, right? And so so they start getting some anxious, and so if I'm like into a movie that's going to take me past that time, it's dealing with that because they're starting to kind of put me to bed.
Oh, okay.
So it's actually been a good thing, and so it's that moment where I shut the door. I live up in the mountain too, and so it's knowing the safety. All the animals are inside because there are animals outside that want to all kill them. And and that's just the truth. And so it's just having the safety of having them all in the room. They all calm down. My head starts calming down. I have a little time before I fall asleep, but it's like, wow, this is checking off all sorts of things. Like I have a happy animals. My eyes are looking less sunk into my head, and I've learned to look forward to that moment. And so sometimes the option goes to like, I have friends that have a thing, and I'm like, yeah, but like I really want to get home and go to bed. Like
that's me too.
Like close to like it's getting closer to 10 o'clock, and and of course I can't do that all the time. But that being said, it's like that's the moment for me where it's.
I'm proud of you. That's a big deal.
Oh, it's been a huge change. But I'm less of an asshole amongst
I would say
people. And I don't think of myself as that.
Difference.
But I know that it is, lack of sleep, people. It's not good for you.
So, all kidding aside, I had no idea you had changed that schedule. But that's fantastic for you because you put on a good front then because I didn't know.
I kind of have to, but it's, if you look deeper,
Right.
It's all this good moisturizer that I use. But nowadays, it's less
Will
of
you
that
share your
and more just
recipe
normal.
with me later?
Of course I will. Absolutely.
Okay. Pro tip.
Where do you find that peace, those moments?
I don't.
But that's just the answer. There's
Simple
nothing.
answer. No peace.
Is there a moment when you're editing something, or if you're in
No,
a
because
zone,
editing sucks. And I'm addicted to social because I used social. Interestingly enough, I don't have my only personal account is Facebook, but I have like 3 or 4 different business accounts on Instagram, and all the pages on the business accounts, and all the YouTubes on the business accounts, and so I run all the things. but they're not really personal, but I'm still on all the time. And so that just drains. So that's not good. But I do sleep like a champ because I worked overnights for years, and that will mess you up for life. I tell you, just, if you can avoid that, don't do that. So I now value sleep, and I can fall asleep almost as good as my wife. My wife, her head hits the pillow and it's like there's no, she's out, and I'm almost that good at sleeping. So it doesn't matter if I go to bed
I haven't
at 8 or
gotten
9.
that good yet.
Yeah.
I'm getting pretty good. I have to unwind with reading or something, but like reading, actual reading, not like
Actual reading.
phone reading.
Right. And I can, and sometimes people can do it on their tablets or whatever, and put it in like night mode because it's that blue light that's not so hot for you, I guess. But yeah. But I do hike, and so I like the trails as well, and I hike, and I have noticed that I really I'll take headphones, and sometimes I need the earbuds because I'm just in a space where I just need to listen to some music and get down with the hike. But most of the time, I love trying to find the end of my brain. You know, I'm just out there hiking, and then the thoughts are going through and everything. And if I could find the end of my brain when I get home, I feel so much better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're easier to be around. That's for sure. You're like, oh, you just got back from hiking, didn't you?
Yeah.
It's like,
You can tell.
your team just won a game, didn't they?
Yeah, well, that's true. Whenever the Cowboys lose, I'm not pleasant to be around. So,
Oh, I do not plan anything on those.
and
days.
I would say the Jazz, but the Jazz lose all the damn time. So that's like, that's not good. So, Melissa, you go by author M. Lee Holmes. Is that correct?
Yes, and I should say it's M. Lee, because when I say M. Lee, people think I say
Emily.
Emily.
I have a dot. I have a dot in here. Okay,
Oh, nice.
M. Lee
Okay.
Holmes. And how did you come up with that, and what's the significance?
I came up with that because that's my name.
There.
So you worked with some consultants.
Oh God.
We're learning so much.
I know. This is great.
Lee is my middle name.
Okay, but why didn't you just go by Melissa Holmes? Why'd you switch it up? Just for funsies?
Yeah, sure. I don't know.
Lisa
Melissa doesn't sound professional to me.
No, the M. Lee is badass. I kind of like
Okay,
it. Yeah.
thank you.
That workshopped well in the trailer, so
It did work out well,
Lee
yeah.
is good. Yeah.
And what do you write about?
So I write fiction. I write fantasy and sci-fi.
You have a publisher, self-published, independent?
I
What do you-
self-publish.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then where can we find books?
On Amazon, just under my author name.
M. Lee Holmes, Holmes.
Yeah.
Casey, I don't know where to find your stuff online.
So on Facebook, Seeds of Imagination cards.
For the cards.
But I also have a creative community that's a group, Seeds of Imagination cards. And it's just an amazing place where everybody posts creative things that they're doing or that they've seen. It's
So y'all talking prompts.
we
You
talk
just
in
prompt
prompts.
each other.
You just prompt each other.
Time, location. Yeah. I love communities. I love that you said an online community. That's like the best of Facebook for me is
Yeah.
that safe place.
Do you know we're almost at like 300 people, which surprised me because I don't really publish or anything. 300 people that follow fans of Banyan. We call them Banyans.
That is a loyal community of like, they got your back.
They do. They love our podcast, and we're up to almost 300 people that follow that on Facebook. And I was like, I had no idea. I just looked at it the other day.
That's awesome.
Those are your people.
There are people, and that's what it is. It's what it's for, right? It's like you got to gather your people. So, okay, very good. All right, Todd, what did we miss here, my friend?
Quick reminder on the Finch Lane Gallery, the 2 shows are still on. It only goes through September 20th. I'll mention that a few more times. That is a closing reception, and that's also the gallery stroll. And Van Sessions is around the corner. I know we don't always talk about that on this show, but we have a good lineup in September. Don't ask because I don't remember the second band. But I'll have event pages posted today or tomorrow.
My favorite, Todd, is everyone's like, dude, who's playing in September? I'm like,
There's so many bands that come through. I don't know. I don't know who's going to be on the show today.
I don't know. Yeah.
I'll find out when I get there. Yep.
Well, I do want to say, Casey, Katrina, Wind Peak, thanks so much for being here and bringing Melissa because we had a late scratch on the podcast today,
Would know it.
and I was like, Katrina, which I didn't know, Casey, what can you move dates? And she's like, I've already moved once, okay, because I gave her the wrong damn dates.
Good
Like,
for you.
I've already like, what if I bring a marathon author? I'm
Done.
freaking done. What is this? Your like neighbor? Like, how did you pull that off? Like,
Doesn't matter.
instantaneous.
She loiters outside of the collective.
Right.
I don't, she's got her face up against the glass. Let's figure out who she is together.
Look at, and it's Melissa.
She did just pick me up off the street. We were pretending to know each other.
Our track record is pretty good about pulling people off the streets. That's
So
perfect.
she's got this cool tattoo on her arm and stuff. It's like,
Just make up a story about that.
yeah, make
Oh,
up
I love that.
And if you can't, I've got some prompts. So very good. Thanks so much, you two, for being here today.
Thank you.
I really enjoyed getting to know you a little bit more and getting to know a little bit more about the collective and what you do as far as painting and marathon running is really hard. What's your next race?
It is Huntsville Marathon.
Is that in the fall?
Yeah, it's September
We're almost
21st.
there. So
Yeah.
fall's like
It's coming
on
up.
that day. Isn't it the 21st the solstice?
I
Like
think
that's
so.
the
It
first day of
is,
fall?
yeah. Yeah.
On the okay, well, that is a beautiful race. So have fun with that race.
Oh, and one last question,
Yes.
and you may have mentioned it, but let's remind everybody, where can we buy
Seeds
of Imagination?
At the collective,
At the
local
collective.
artisan collective.
Go, and if you wanted it online, is that an option?
Yes, seedsofimaginationcards.com.
Perfect.
Cards.com. Thanks so much. This week's, well, I should say thank you to Banyan One. That's this trailer right here for powering today's episode of the Ogden Arts and Adventure Show. Listen and subscribe to Ogden Arts and Adventure on YouTube. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, thebanyancollective.com. And
Oh, I'm going to interrupt
app.
you just for one split
I'm
second.
busy.
Just for a split second, because I know this goes straight into the song. I had somebody ask the other day, you called this Banyan One and it spurred. Do you still register this trailer each year?
So no, because we're not on the road.
No, I
So
know that.
I don't want to get a sticker. So we are illegal.
If we needed
Yeah.
to take it out,
We're
then you'd
100%
have to
illegal.
get-
Yeah.
Got it.
Because I got the
But
license plate.
we're fine in here.
Somebody asked that?
Yeah, somebody.
They were like,
People
well, is
ask
that thing
questions.
registered? Was like,
It wasn't quite so judgy. I think
Okay.
it was more out of love and curiosity.
no, but we had to register it originally because
I
we had
think that
to
was
tow
the
it around.
question.
We towed it around and we got the plate for it. It really is Banyan One. That's the
Yeah?
plate. Yeah, it really is the thing. And then we got I don't even think I put the stickers on. Or I took them. I don't even know what year we got
I don't know
it,
if there
so.
are stickers on.
Yeah, that might have been because they give you 2 plates, and so this might be the one.
So
that
whoever
was.
asked that question, hopefully you're listening.
We might have that plate on the back still.
They
yeah.
might.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for answering that.
I appreciate that. No, we do not update every year because it's parked inside a place where we have to tear down a deck,
Yeah, we
get
would
it out,
take down a wall.
take down a wall.
Yeah.
So we do not pay the taxes or the government on that one. They can suck it.
That's actually the part of the answer that I gave them. So we're
Okay,
good.
good.
Yeah.
If you want to be on the program, you can DM us or you guys can
Hang around the
suggest-
Artist Collective.
Hang around the Artist Collective. Look in the windows, like you said. DM us, DM me on Instagram at Ogden Adventure, and I will decide if you are good enough to be on the podcast. If you found value in this podcast, more than welcome to give us all your money at buymeacoffee.com/Banyan Media. You can sign up for that. It's like our Patreon, and you can give us monthly donations to the podcast that we will spend on beer. So please, buymeacoffee.com/Banyan Media. We need more alcoholic beverages in the trailer. Our outdoor jukebox this week is, oh man, this song crushed me. So I didn't change it correctly on here, but this song is called Playground. Do not listen to this song. All right, just turn away now, because this song will crush you. Andrew Wiscombe, backstage at OFOM, joined us, and he is a military vet. While he was a military vet, he witnessed, unfortunately, child abduction, slavery, abuse. And so he wrote a song about it called Playground. This is it. Join us next week on the next outdoor Ogden Arts and Adventure Show, and we'll take you out with Andrew Wiscombe. The full show or the full episode backstage is up on Van Sessions right now. So we'll see you next week.
Emotions. This is one that it's off my last record, and I think it's the saddest song I've ever written, which is Saying Something. And it deals with, in the Army, I came across some human trafficking, and the stories I heard from kids and that I saw. This was just kind of, I didn't want to write it, but this is what came out from it. So it's called Playground.
All right.
She said my mother sat in silence, water cash in hand, counted twice, then nodded to some man. I saw she heard my screaming, no remorse conveyed, as he chained me in the van and drove away. And the wind blew through the swing set, where as kids we spent our days. My body now a playground for who pays. Family men on business, Paradise Hotel, ringgit fingers, moonlit piggy tails. They do their worst in silence. I shower off their sins, scrub any hope and numb myself again. Oh, my soul cries out for justice, but it's silenced by the wealth. My body now a playground up for sale. Through the bars inside this window, I can see the rustling leaves, and I picture what it's like to be that free. How it'd be to be a Coke can or some well-worn street debris, to have at least a chance at liberty. Maybe God don't want to find me in this cradle of a grave. My body just a playground that he made.